How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Turkish Talks, but it's more about you guys. It's not about me. We've got quite a bit to talk about. There was midweek fixtures. There was fixtures this weekend. Arsenal have held the L yesterday. Aston Villa. I see people talking about therapy. It is what it is, man. We will talk about it. We will talk about it. Let me scroll up on the chat as well and see what the people are saying. Ali Shaq said we got robbed of 2 goals, disallowed. 2 goals? I know obviously the Havertz one, but I guess you mean the Jesus penalty. We'll talk about it all anyway. We'll talk about it. And then Rama came in saying, who cares? We should have won the game without the referees messing up their job. And we should have. He didn't tell a lie there. We should have won that game regardless. But people, make sure you're subscribed, hit the like button, do all of that and get your questions and thoughts and comments and all of that into the live chat. And like I said, it's about you. And I'll give my opinions on what you guys and girls want to talk about. Big up Xavi. And Rob as well. Come on. Apologies for the delay, people. Apologies for the delay, but we're here. We're here. And Vic, it wasn't that. It wasn't that, Vic. Big up TVG. Frustrating result, but finishing needs to be better. Thought we at least deserved a point. VAR, I prefer not to speak. Well, we did. I think we deserved to win the game, if I'm honest with you. And then I see a lot of, I don't know, it was Villa fans or Arsenal fans as well, underneath my fan cam and social clips saying, I didn't put no respect on them after the game. And listen, I respect Aston Villa. They're doing their thing, but we should have won that game. Am I going mad here? We should have definitely won that game. I predicted 3-1, and I think it should have been a 3-1 game. The amount of openings we had, I won't say chances because we had a few of those. We had a few bang-on chances, but we had so many openings that I still can't believe how we've lost that 1-0, if I'm honest with you. One of our better, more fluid performances of the season, we've gone on to lose. And before people say, oh, you see, when we open up a bit more, you know, it costs. No, we conceded a goal. We conceded a goal. It wasn't like we held 2-3 because we opened up a little bit more. Aston Villa came at us. We went at them. I think we got the better of it in terms of openings. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters come the full-time whistle is who gets the goals and who didn't. And they did and we didn't. So we're here. Back to second, 6-point lead on City, cut to 3. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Not panic stations, but not ideal. It's frustrating because it was just 6 points with City. They've just, listen, they deserve the win against Luton, but it's not a win that everyone turns around and says, listen, that blip that Man City just had, well and truly over. So us losing... How didn't you, man, finish your dinner? How didn't you, man, finish your dinner? And we will talk about that as well. Like I said, nice and early. So I want to scroll up the chat, see what's going on. Hit the like button, people. Big up Turks, says RMC. Come on. Karthik says, we played well. No need to panic. Be more clinical and we're Gucci. Pretty much my thoughts. Pretty much my thoughts. But an element, like I said, a strong element of frustration because of the way it happened. I mean, it's a funny one because I think if we had lost the game 1-0 and we didn't play well, I guess I would have been more understanding of it. I would have been upset and vexed, probably more so. I'm kind of still scratching my head about, you know, how it was 1-0. If we had played poorly and lost, then there's no, you know, we don't need to think about it too much. We played shit and we lost. That is what it is. Final year of uni is killing, man. Come on, Jam. Come on. Listen, uni. I've been uni. I mean, it's a while ago now. When did I graduate? 2012. So 11 years. Well, it was going to be 12 years ago now. But yeah, uni's mad. And if you've got a dissertation in your final year as well, yeah. I actually had the choice of dissertation or extra exams, and I chose the extra exams because that dissertation, amount of words, yeah, not for me. Not for me. But good luck though. Big up. Halfway there. 5 months to go and you're good. You're good. Tom says, I can't tell if we grew into the game yesterday or Villa just relaxed after they got the goal. Teams need to get better at playing against a high line. Should have been a training session yesterday. Should have been. It kind of was a training session, but you could say the same thing for them because of the way they was catching us offside, if that makes sense. They, you know, they caught us offside a hell of a lot. some of the offsides were down more down to that certain player's lack of maybe concentration or patience at that moment. But Aston Villa, their approach at the end of the day yielded a clean sheet. How? I don't know, because I think we got the better of them in more than enough times in terms of balls over the top and between the lines to be able to walk away from that game 2-3 goals up. Easy. It is what it is. Dave said the 9:07 start time is becoming a trend. Arsenal are so frustrating, says Muna. And Alf says, I hope you're well. I am. Aside from the result. And like Karthik said, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I'm all good, man. Nando, I'll big up Nando. Come on. Gonna ruin my weekend. You know what? When I look at the way Liverpool and City won as well, like coming back from a goal down, the Liverpool one even more so now that they're top of the league. It hasn't been a good weekend, lads. It hasn't been a good weekend. But listen, we need to make up for that at Anfield. Now that becomes more of a must, in my opinion. Listen, what will that be? Game week 18, maybe 19, 18, I think. It's still very early, but I think you don't lose that game. Don't lose that game. I feel like it's a must not lose. Listen, I know Liverpool have been up there for the majority of this whole Pep era at Man City. I know there's a couple of years in that where they really didn't, they really didn't put up a fight. But for the majority, but the wholesale changes they've had to make in midfield this summer. If Man City were to fall off, if Man City were to, and this is going back to the start of the season, if you were to tell me Man City are gonna lose 3 games in the first 15, not look the same team, De Bruyne's gonna be out injured for 4 months, they're not gonna set pace. I still feel Arsenal should have been the ones, as much as Liverpool have the recent heritage in that title, challenging, title winning, whatever, over the last 5-6 years. I still feel the wholesale changes you would have expected that transition to take a bit more time, and Arsenal, where the trajectory was and where you expect to to kick on. And I'm not saying we won't, because it's still very early. Liverpool are just a point above us. I'm just saying that if it's not to be City this season, it must be us. That's what I'm basically saying. It must be us. If it's not City, it must be us. And even if City come back into it and it's a fight and 30 games in, 2, 3, 5 points separates top 2, top 3, I still say, listen, we must. We must. That's the next step for this club, this team, these players, this manager. It's the next step. But listen, this is still very early. It's game week 15, 16. Let me see what's going on here. Big up Turkish from Japan. Come on, go Jew. 6 a.m. What is it here? 9 p.m., 6 a.m. Mad. Big up though. Love for tuning in, my bro. Appreciate it. BH1 says, I think your post-match analysis was spot on, but I was really angry at Zinchenko's performance yesterday. Too many sloppy passes. Picked it up in the second half, but overall, yes. It's a theme now. It's not like, we've just found this out. I mean, it's been a running theme where that's why I don't suggest he plays midfield, because I don't think his passing is as good as people make out. I think his strength coming into midfield is exactly that, coming into midfield from elsewhere. But we've talked about this before. In the first half, especially, sloppy pass after sloppy pass. Even the goal. Listen, it's more a well-worked goal and a great piece of play from Aston Villa as a whole than it is mistakes. But there was mistakes made from both Zinchenko and Havertz. First, Zinchenko gets sucked in, which you could argue, listen, he needs to go close down the player. That's part of our game. Fair enough. Player cuts in, Havertz goes to close down. Now Zinchenko and Havertz have both closed down. A ball between the both of them runs off them. 1-2, basically in on goal, and the rest is history. So there was mistakes made there, and Zinchenko had a part to play in that, even though it's debatable, because at the end of the day, that's what they're asked to do, is press, or maybe more Havertz for getting sucked in too, and Zinchenko probably needed more cover than another person in, or just win it. Maybe he did need another person in to just win it. That could be the other argument. But yeah, we got sucked in. A great piece of play from Aston Villa, and it cost us. And overall, I think Zinchenko did create enough in the second half for me to say, regardless of his sloppy passing, we should have won the game courtesy of some of his great forward passing. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's definitely a problem area, I think, short term and long term. But I think Timber was the answer for Arteta. I think that was always going to be the man for him. I think it's unfortunate that he's injured. We all think the same, Arsenal fans, but I think he was coming in to replace Zinchenko in terms of the full-time role at that position. We won't know until he returns, and even when he returns, we hope and pray that he's good. True Guna, big up, come on, love my bro, love. Kemi says, watching Matisse's emergency stream made me realize they lost to Villa ain't that bad. I was watching that before. I think, is he still live now? I was watching that before I went live, like from like 8:30. But yeah, I don't even know where the tab is. But yeah, big up Matisse, man. Big up Matisse. He called me during the watch along on AFTV as well, so I had to call him after actually, and I happened to catch him and Saeed talking together. They were doing therapy of their own. Yeah. But I guess after this weekend's result, maybe you could include me in that. But overall, you are right. You look at them and you think we've come a long way, because that used to be us. We used to be a mix of United and Chelsea 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, and many more amongst those years when we moved into the Emirates. But we move. Saeed in the chat, he ain't easy tomorrow. Saeed, my brother. How, Broski? Actually, I know you're saying it in more of an. At first, I'm looking at it thinking, are you trying to put it on, man? But then I was thinking, nah, you can't put it on, man, after what happened. But yeah, big up Saeed, man. Tomorrow, the pain is shared tomorrow, bro. I don't know what order is going to come in. I don't know what order is. Because Tobes is definitely going to want to talk about Arsenal's loss first. Actually, he might want to talk about Chelsea's, Pochettino. I'd say Grizz and Hugh might want to talk about United's loss. Who doesn't want to talk about that? Grizz will probably want to talk about being top of the league, but we need to make sure he comes correct, not this whole half-hearted. He needs to now look at the table and say, we're in it. We're in it. Actually, I said we're in it, but we want him to say more than that for skullfuckery purposes. But it hasn't been easy so far. Maxi says Turkish. It was 2 goals. The Saka one wasn't even. Oh yeah. So the Jesus penalty was separate. Listen, the more I look at the Jesus one, the more I say penalty. Listen, when I talk about football, I tend to talk from the football I know of growing up. And football's changed so much. So for me, if you ask me what I think of that, I'm like, it's soft. It's not a penalty. But the reality is, soft does now not mean not penalty. Most penalties are soft now. So by them standards, it is. And to be honest, it's probably more a penalty than the Thiago one on Jesus last year, which was similar kind of, legs up, going for the ball, one hits the other. So the more I see it, the more I think it was a pen. But listen, we should have banged in 3 from open play. Odegaard, I don't even understand. A lot of people are saying the second one was easier. The second one, we usually see him, just put those in the back of the net. Usually along the ground, but listen, he's got, quality technical ability. You'd expect him. But that first one, shimmy, and then that shot. So I know it was a good save from Martinez, but you shouldn't be allowing the keeper to even be able to make that save, if I'm honest with you. You shouldn't be allowing that. So, yeah, penalty, goals disallowed, and we still should have scored 3. But it is what it is, man. Big up Saeed, man. Sorry to see that. Big up the mods as well in the building. Make sure you hit the like button, people. Nearly 500 people there. We play better, no end product. Yeah, I mean, it's a mad one, man. Because James said to me the other day, goal scoring is not the problem, and the numbers tell you that goal scoring is not the problem. Like, I mean, in terms of, let's say, the last 18 months or the end of last season and this season. I think the end of last season, everyone knows defensively, Saliba and Tommy missing, everything just fell apart. But goal scoring, we scored a hell of a lot of goals, and I think after 16 games this season, what are we on goals wise? I should have the table up really, but I'll bring it up quickly. Here we are, 33 goals, 16 games. In and around the right ballpark, I guess. 36 for Liverpool, 35 for Villa, 38 for City, 33 for Tottenham, 33 for Newcastle as well. Actually, they've got a couple of spankings in there. 33 for Brighton. They've just conceded 28. That's mad. I don't know, man. That match, usually, I don't think goals are. I say usually. This season, it's been a bit different. But goals are not hard to come by for Arsenal. You know, we always seem to score. Much more often than not. I mean, this season, well, obviously Newcastle 1-0 and Aston Villa 1-0. Aside from that, Lons, when they beat us, it was 2-1. Yeah, usually we get goals. And that's without someone clinical. That's why I think if you add someone clinical into this side, then you open up a whole other, world, because the numbers tell you that Arsenal's attack creates chances, goal scoring opportunities, but when you look at the goals, they're more often than not they're shared out, which is fine. I mean, when a clinical striker comes in, the goal should still be shared out in some way, shape, or form. But you also want that clinical striker to be on the end of most things, which would put him at the top of the list. And this ain't no slight on Jesus, by the way. I see a lot of debate about Jesus online and whatnot. And listen, Jesus, in terms of a gunman, he's not a gunman. Like, we all know this. So I'm not gonna sit here and judge him to the standard of a gunman, if that makes sense. Otherwise, it's easy. I mean, he's not. So it's laughable to suggest he is. He is a player that drops. He's a player that brings in other players. He's a new school striker, basically, that's coming in the last 10, 15 years or whatever, on this false nine and whatnot. And I just mentioned that I prefer traditional football, and I prefer a clinical striker. That doesn't mean I don't like Jesus, because Jesus probably our best footballer, best baller overall. And I'm talking about an attacking sense here, because I know defensively is very different attributes to be defined as a baller. And Saliba's still up there in terms of some of the attributes you'd put with a midfielder and whatnot. But Jesus, for me, still has a place in the side, regardless of a new striker. And I don't think Tony's the guy, if I'm honest with you. I don't think Tony's the guy. AFC always says, Turkish, our captain moving away from 50-50 balls, literally stepped away and let the opponent shoot. Maybe I should. I did see this on Twitter as well. I don't remember what moment it was. I should have probably rechecked the video or something. If that's the case, again, I mean, if we're talking in a traditional sense, then you know what I think about that shit. I mean, there was a time when Zinchenko, I think the ball hit his face and he went down for about 40 seconds or something. And it wasn't the worst ball to the face that I've seen. But obviously, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, man were getting hit with footballs to the face and playing on, still continuing their run even. Now things have changed quite a lot. Big up sports science, I guess. But yeah, pulling out of 50-50s is something that's changed. I don't know, I went off on a tangent there, but it's kind of the same family of topic, 50-50 tackles. Back in the day, if you pull out, it says a lot about you. Traditional football, like 90s, early 2000s. If you pull out, it says a hell of a lot about you. Now it's very different. Now a lot of excuses are made. Oh, he could get injured and things like that. When I remember before, people even saying during the 90s, 2000s, and even going into the 2010s, if you're both going in for a 50-50 and one person decides to pull out, there's a lot more risk there than if you both go in for the 50-50 wholeheartedly. I don't know how true that is. I don't know the numbers behind it. Maybe James needs to do a tactical insight on that sign, but yeah, the game's, when people say the game's gone, that part of the game definitely gone. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Big up Ryan, man. He said he's gutted with how the game went yesterday. We all are. We're all gutted. We're all gutted. I'm just gonna go back in circles again. I've been talking about it for 20 minutes, and I've probably mentioned it about 6 times already. But I don't know how we lost that game. They got Mystery as well. Hope you're good, man. Just tuned in. Costa says Havertz isn't only improving, he's been one of our best, if not best performer the last few games, and we need to, not the last few games. You see, this is where, and I said this to Gunali yesterday. I don't know which side's going to stop the problem. Actually, no side's going to stop the problem, because this is football banter now. This is football opinions now. It's either you have to be there or you have to be there. You can't be anywhere here. Especially here. If you're here, you're a fence sitter. You can't be balanced. If you're here, you're sitting on the fence. You either have to be there or be there. Now, what you're doing right now is you're there. Let's say this is ultra positive. Best in the last few games? No. He wasn't the best player against Brentford when he came on and scored the winner. He scored the winner. He wasn't the best player against Wolves, but he was much. He was not erased much. He was improved for sure. And his last game, he was, in my opinion, the best attacking player on the pitch. I won't say the best player on the pitch, but the best attacking player on the pitch. And that includes the front five. The front three, and the 2 behind, including Odegaard. He was the best of the lot. But you see, when you say things like that, which side did I say you are? When you say things like that, when things don't happen in the next game, this side are saying things as crazy as what you said there, but in the negative sense. And then you're going to hear that, and people like you are going to hear that, and they think, what? So the next time he scores, or the next time he puts in a tackle or whatever, nearly gets a red card or wins 7 aerial duels in the first half or something, you're going to go, see? And then it's just like, it's that volleyball. It's like volleyball. And it tends to be like one side's waiting for something to happen to attack the other side. Whereas if you really want him to, like me, listen, I didn't expect anything from Havertz. I'll be real with you. I still can't believe we signed him. That's not to say I haven't been happier with his performances in the last few games, because I have, for sure. That goes without saying. Now, I'm not, even though I said you're hearing positivity, in terms of the last few games, he has improved. We need to be more balanced with it. If he plays good, it's like the Eddie thing. Remember when Eddie scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United, and Laurie, who's there with Eddie and Ketia, decided to get onto me, who tends to be there with Eddie and Ketia. Actually, I'd probably say around there, because you could get worse than me, but really, I'm about there. But his first instinct was bang, let me get onto Turkish. So then obviously when he's not banging, human nature, my first instinct is to get onto him. And then it's back and forth, even though I've kind of tried to tone that down and listen, I don't care for back and forth. I've got my opinion. My opinion is my opinion. I don't care if, my opinion is formed over time. It's not formed over 2-3 games or 2-3 goals. I don't even know how we got here. This is what happens in these lives. That's why I like them. Just go off on a tangent, we talk, and then another chat come in, and then we move. So big up everyone. Oh yeah, Ryan, I just see that one. So let me scroll down a bit. Prince of Somalia says, I can't believe we spent this much money and we need more money spent. We do. At the same time, I think it was necessary. Like, obviously, if we just look at the money spent, and this ain't me trying to relieve Arteta of any pressure or lower the standards that should be kept sky high. No. but we had to rehaul the fucking whole squad. The whole squad. To the point where even the ones that Arteta, kept hold of and tried to turn around, like a Xhaka, which I guess in the last season, he did his thing, but we always had to upgrade on him, and whether we did or not is a fucking whole nother debate. You know where I stand on that. Rob Holding didn't work out. Eddie Nketiah is not working out. So even the ones that he held on to for as long as possible, they're like Eddie's the one that needs to be replaced now, and we want him replaced by a top striker, which is 100 to 150 mil. That's what we're talking now. So then that money gets put on the money that we've. So essentially, from top to bottom, the whole 25-man squad had to be rebuilt. Obviously, you had some youngsters coming through, Saka being one of them. And who else? Obviously, he had Saliba coming in as well, but didn't utilize him in the first couple of seasons. But yeah, if you just look at the money spent, then it's easy to say, well, we have to win something. But when you look at if you look at Chelsea, they've had to basically change around 22 of the 25 squad. They've done it in a year. They've spent over $1 billion. If Man United get a new manager and they have to rebuild the squad like Chelsea have or like Arsenal have, it's going to be about $1 billion. So to rebuild the entire squad is generally about $1 billion. Now, if we're expecting a billion spent to then win the major honors, there's only one team that can win the Premier League. There's only one team that can win the Champions League. There's a whole heap of teams that spend a hell of a lot of money or have spent a hell of a lot of money or spend a lot on wages and all of this stuff to say they should. If we're just looking at money, Man City should. If we're just looking at money, Real Madrid should. If we're just looking at money, Arsenal should. If we're just looking at money, Chelsea should. If we're just looking at money, Bayern Munich should. Actually, Bayern Munich are a bit different, but they still spend and give good wages. So I'd include them in that conversation, even though heritage counts for a lot there. Not that it doesn't at Real, but Real also spend big bucks. But yeah, let me continue scrolling because I keep on going off on tangents and I haven't even caught up with the chat yet. A couple of super chats have come in as well, so I'm going to get to them real soon. Actually, let me get to them now. Mohammed says, bad performance, but top of the league feels nice. Liverpool fan. Sorry, I was trying to work that out for a sec. I was just trying to work that out. Big up Mohammed, man. Obviously enjoying being top. Kamali says, by the way, guys, Turkish is from an old school era if he hasn't said it already. Well, I don't know. Have I said it enough? Maybe I need to put 88 somewhere around the set or something just to remind people. Big up for the super chat though, Kamali, man. Hope you're good. Last 20 minutes was very... Wait, sorry. I don't know what happened to that chat, but it's gone. For some reason, StreamYard's moving mad. But yeah, I've got the chat back. Joshua says, big up Turkish. I can't lie, I'm finding this Arsenal team boring. I wasn't bored against Villa, but generally this season, I'd agree with you. 100%. Generally this season, I'd agree with you. There's been maybe a handful of games that I haven't been bored in. I think the Aston Villa one was one of them. I really expected us to score a couple. Who else? PSV, entertaining. Sevilla was quite entertaining. Jesus, well, actually, Jesus more had moments. You basically a handful of games. Generally, I agree with you for sure. One sec. Oh, sorry. Back to it. So where are we? Big up Ryan. Come on, Aaron, my guy. Hope you're good, my bro. Big up Aaron, man. One of the most underrated. I can't lie. I see you doing your thing though, bro. So keep it up, G. Keep it up. If we are to win, we need to start dispatching tough teams from blank face killer. Yeah. You know, so that's one of them statements that obviously I think it's one that we tend to agree with, but it's also one that is just thrown out there generally. I mean, when people say, "Ah, coming back at the death is a sign of champions," smashing a team 6-0 is also the sign of champions. So sometimes these statements can apply for many different things. I'm not likening that statement to yours, but I'm just saying we need to start dispatching a tough team. It's quite a general thing. I think that's a given. I think in order to win the major honors, you're going to need to beat some tough fucking sides. That's for sure. Which we have done this season. I mean, beating Man City is one of them. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be tougher games to come, like Anfield in a couple of weeks, Etihad coming up, turn of the year. We must compete at the bare minimum. We must compete. Arsenal are 7 points worse off this game week to last season. Is it 7 points? Is it? See, I don't pay too much mind to that. I tend to look at that. Well, I do look at that at some points in the season, but I won't pay too much mind because obviously it's a different season, different teams around us. So I'll use that more as an analysis at the end of the season, whereas year-on-year comparison, how many goals did we score in comparison to last year, conceded points, etc., wins against what sides, top 6 performances, all of that. But that is interesting, though. That is quite a swing. And like I said, if Man City are to be the ones that go down, we should have been the ones that. And I'm not saying we're not because we're a point behind Liverpool, but when you put it like that and say 7 points worse off, if that is the case, because I'm sure not long ago it was 1 point worse off or something like that. But let's say 7 points worse off, that kind of does indicate that if we were in line with last season, which to be honest was an amazing start, if we was in line, well, actually, what did we have? 15 wins, 1 loss after 16 games, if I'm not mistaken. 15 wins, 1 loss. Yeah. Because the game after the World Cup finished, we won. Was it West Ham? So 15 wins and 1 loss is a fucking solid record. But yeah, even being 4 points, even being 3 points worse off would have put us 3 points clear of Liverpool. 7 points is quite a swing. Jonas says, talk about how our striker only has 2 goals and our fullbacks can't defend. Well, you think Ben White can't defend? I think that's harsh on Ben White. He has been poor, in my opinion. I think it's harsh overall. I don't know what's going on with him, if I'm honest. This season, he hasn't been the Ben White that I grew to know last season. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he is poor now, but Zinchenko is something we've known for a long time, and I've already talked about Zinchenko. I think Timber's the guy that's going to come in for him. And that injury is something that we can't put on anyone at the club. I mean, it was just one of those moments you question your luck. Big up Nemo, birthday today. Oh, big up, man. Happy birthday. I have to think about the game all day. Think about your birthday, man. Enjoy your birthday. Don't worry about this, man. Don't let people get to you, man. Big up Stringer Bell, Barbados in the house. Come on, my guy. Come on. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. I remember you from way back as well. You've been here a little while. Let me continue going. Before there's another super chat there. I will get that in 1 sec. Redemption says, would you be more disappointed if City wasn't as good this season and it's Liverpool to win the league? Because I feel that's more likely. 100%. Last season, I didn't expect to even challenge for the league. So when we ended up setting pace and leading for the majority and being part of a title race, listen, on one hand, I loved it because it's the first time that people were looking at us, talking about us as a top club. Obviously the banter turned up when we bottled it or when we fucked it up or whatever people want to label it. But that's because we had a lot of people worried. We had a lot of people concerned. People have talked a lot of shit about us for years, and a lot of that was potentially coming back to bite them. So yes, it was painful at the end, but you've got to be there. You've got to be there to obviously get hurt by it, and I'd rather be there and be hurt than not be there at all. But that doesn't apply every year. For fuck's sake, get over the line at least one of these years. But yeah, big up. Where are we? But But yeah, sorry, to round that off is, yeah, I would be a lot more, yeah, disappointed this season because I actually expected a title challenge at the bare minimum this season. I expected that if City were to fall off because Gundogan's gone, because Mahrez is gone, because they suffer a big injury, if they were to fall off, then we must. So yes, if Liverpool go to win the league, I'll be vexed. I'll be so vexed because listen, City don't. If City don't win a league title, then they're coming back. They're coming back, especially with Pep. Now, if they don't win a league title and Pep goes at the end of the year, that's a whole other story. But from what I know, it seems like Pep, has committed himself there. So, you know, they will be back if they don't win this year's league title. Big up, come on. Where are we? Let me scroll back. Let me get the super chats in now. Big up, done. Come on, G. Tinai says, do you think we can win the league with Odegaard as our captain? I'm curious about what you think. It's hard. It's a very difficult question to answer, because I feel like it's a loaded question. And by that, I mean, I feel like you already know the answer to the question, if that makes sense, even though there isn't a definitive answer, because you can't know until it happens or it doesn't happen. And then and even then, you can't say for sure, because let's say we don't win the league title. Let's say we finish a point behind City this season, 90 points, 89 points. Let's say next season, let's say we finish a point behind Liverpool this season. Let's say next season we finish 2 points behind City, 99 points City, 97 points Arsenal. After that, you could say Odegaard can't win you the title as a captain, but when you look at the numbers, you're just competing with a fucking juggernaut, a beast. So really, he could. And this is all ifs, buts, and maybes. If you're asking me now, I can't answer the question if I'm honest with you. And the loaded part of the question is probably more what we can talk about than answering the question itself. I think the loaded part is, do I feel like he's the right type of character to be a captain, especially in crunch time? Is he clutch? Is he someone that can guide you through a war? On evidence, no. On evidence, no. But I do like him. I mean, I like Odegaard. I think obviously we play more 2/8s than calling him a 10. But I do think he is a good 8. I think he is a good 8. I think he needs to be a bit more tough in the tackle, but I do think he works. He gets himself in good defensive positions. He does help defensively. So he's a very good 8. But I think captain, again, if you didn't know, I'm traditional. I'm old school. So, if you're asking me, let me explain. Let me tell you something that answers the question. The two best captains, in my opinion, in the Premier League, and maybe you could make it 3. It's just that I tend to not talk about 3 because I don't really like him. Like, you probably know who he is, but Chelsea. That's all I'm going to say. But top 2 for me, Roy Keane and Tony Adams. In whichever order you want to put them. Tony Adams, Roy Keane, Tony Adams. And even if you put third in there, the Chelsea don, then you see traits or character traits forming there across the 3 in terms of how they play football, what type of men they was on the pitch, what type of character they had. And it doesn't fit in like Roy Keane, Tony Adams, Odegaard doesn't really fit in the same sentence. Now, listen, I'm not saying I'm right. Before people say you're a dinosaur, you're too old school, football's changed. I know. That's fine. I'm just here giving you my opinion. That was the captains I grew up on. Those are the captains I liked. Those were the captains I seen carry their clubs through the trenches. Take them out the other side. No man down. So I can't answer your question about can we win the league, because I feel like we should have won the league last season. And after 30 games, I think the answer to can you win the league is yes, if you lead the race after 30 games, even though we didn't. I still think we can because we was there after 30 games, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people, I think a lot of people want the like, I'm not. So actually, David, that kind of is your answer. Odegaard was captain last season, and 30 games in, I feel like we should have won it. And looking back at it now, it shows that you can win it. We didn't, but it shows that you can. To lead the race and be there after 30 games and 5 points clear, or whatever it was, we could have won the league. We can win the league. Will we? Another question entirely. But yeah, we got there in the end. We got there in the end. Bear shimmy shimmy. Come on, DM. I know you're talking about that Odegaard chance. Bear shimmy shimmy, bro. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. And then a low shot. I just didn't get it. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Big up. Come on, JC. Hope you're good, my bro. Ardaguna. Tatted Ginger. Come on. Miles. Not familiar names. J Dime. Let me see the super chat coming. Mohammed again. January window is crucial for Liverpool and Arsenal. Disappointing if we don't take advantage and sign a DM and a left back. Or DM and a centre back, sorry. You never know with our owners. Yeah, you to be honest, Liverpool, yeah, you do never know. I think from what we know, that ain't happening. From what we know, that ain't happening. I think a DM is more likely to happen. But then again, listen, Liverpool at this moment in time are very strong candidates to win the Premier League. So maybe the owners do go that extra yard. Maybe it's not the extra yard needed. Maybe it's a bit of shrewd business, and Klopp has many examples of shrewd business over his years at not only Liverpool, previous clubs too. So, maybe you can pull it out of the bag, a DM and a centre back. Why not? Why not? Why not? For us, it feels like the last two January windows have been crucial. It feels like this one's crucial. I'm tired of it. I mean, I'm tired of starting seasons where 2-3 weeks in we're saying we're going to need this in January. I wish we just start a season where we're not worried about January until December the 20th because we have enough and we're doing what we should be doing. It's another year where, yeah, you're right. It's going to be a big January for us. Striker and an 8. Striker and an 8. That's how I see it. But I would take striker and a 6. If the 6 is a deep line playmaker, then yeah, like a Zubimendi, for example. Because then I think then you can play Rice in the 8 or double pivot with Zubimendi, and then you get a bit of both worlds in terms of, I think you get a bit of what we're missing from Thomas Partey from Zubimendi, but you also get the what Declan Rice brings week in, week out. So I wouldn't mind a striker and striker and a 6 or striker and an 8. That's what I would want, but I doubt it's going to happen. For us anyway. For you lot, maybe. Your club has actually gone the extra yard to sign, players in January for big fees. So yeah, maybe. Pepe says, "How are you? I'm all good. Best in the world." Says, "Big up the chat. Come on." And he said, "That's why I said we should have bought another striker." Yeah, we should. Listen, we've needed a striker for years. Jay just didn't fix that. Don't forget, we've lost what? Lacazette, Aubameyang, and so far all that's coming is Jesus. I don't trust our players there a hell of a lot, but ideally, you need to have a man that's just, well, Eddie's meant to be that guy, but he's not that guy, is he? Sabah says, "Late to the stream. I hope everyone is well. Big up, bro. Hope you're well. All good, my bro. All good. Just a late Sunday sesh, man. Light talk before I do Forever Arsenal later. That will be out tomorrow morning, nice and early, 7, 8 a.m. around that time. So make sure you look out for that. But I did promise you guys a live a week. So here I am again, 3 weeks in a row. Right, we're on a bit of a roll. I'm not going to lie to you people. Man, he said, unlucky Turkish up to Villa. The game is the game. The game is the game. Look, I'm bare down. Sorry, people. You know what? I'm talking, and I'm seeing the chat from like 15 minutes ago, and you lot are all talking about what I'm talking about now, and it's just fucking up the motion. So let me scroll up and get some more of the relevant, up to date comments in. Laka outscored Eddie and Jesus last season. He did, but Laka, listen, I backed Laka, but he was dead, bro. And I know there's a graphic going around with Jesus and Lacazette and the stats and similarities and whatnot. Listen, the problem is Lacazette came in as a supposed gunman, and he didn't gun. Jesus, for me anyway, and like what Best in the World said, we always knew we need people like me. We needed a gunman on top of Jesus. So Jesus coming in wasn't the same kind of aura that Lacazette coming in. We thought, yep, Lacazette comes in, nice 20-goal-a-year striker, or hopefully a 20-goal-a-year striker. Far from it. So his stats being similar to Jesus and people bringing that up now is kind of disingenuous, because Jesus' strong point isn't scoring. It isn't. It's not his fault that the club have only left him there, or left him with Eddie and Ketia, basically. It's not his fault, because I still think even with a new striker, top striker, even with an Osimhen, you still find the space for Jesus. Whether that's week in, week out, or on a rotation, you still find space for Jesus. He's quality. So yeah. Laka though, man. I backed that guy so much at one point, and then all he was doing at the end was just backing up on man. That's all he was doing at the end of his Arsenal career. He was just backing up on man. Lost every yard of pace he had. He'd pick up the ball, and he'd move mad. He would move mad, and sometimes you need to spin off and get a shot in and get a goal here and there. But he became a twerking merchant. Too much. It's fucking good seeing someone like Jesus actually who back to goal, picks up the ball and is just fluid in his motion, one way, fluid the other way. Lacazette was robotic. He'll come to him. It just happened all in motion. He'll come to him, then he'll just arch his back, like, and then it's like, broski. Not every time. Sometimes flick it around the corner. Sometimes. So Lacazette, by the end of that French league, yeah, Fugazi. Just because man bangs in that league doesn't mean they're coming over here to bang. And like I said, I used to back Lacazette. Don't ask me why now, man. Don't ask me why now. Big up LFC Badder as well, my guy. Hope you're good. Another big supporter of the channel. Even though a Liverpool fan, another big supporter of the channel, so we can show some love. Love the consistent channel content. Elizabeth, thank you. Thank you. And it's nice to see a lady's name once in a while. Because I do often say thank you, guys and girls, or, referencing it. But more often than not, I'm not too sure if there's any ladies or women in the chat. But big up all of the ladies taking part as well. Love for the super chat. But why can't I get it off screen? Oh, there we are. Leon ain't doing good now. They ain't. That's and yeah, that's another point. But it's not just Lacazette that's poor. Their whole club is in the mud now. Oh, Shu as well. Come on. I like this. That's what I like to now. I've seen the names. I can get more familiar. See what I'm saying? Shu, I haven't done much content, so really it's more me. But I haven't seen your name much. I don't know if you're a legacy fan or if you're new to this, but big up, same way. That's funny. The reason I say legacy fan is because someone, I forgot what, was in the AFTV watch along, maybe on the watch along. Someone sent in a chat, or maybe I forgot what it was, but saying, you think he's just some sort of madness, and then he was like, "You're an entitled legacy fan," and I was thinking to myself, "Whoa, what's the problem with legacy fan? Is that a thing now? Is Gen Z saying legacy fans in the mud or legacy fans out, or what's going on? Am I missing something? Because I'm not on socials like that. So, what do you mean, you entitled legacy fan? Surely a legacy fan is something to be proud of. You've supported and loved one entity for a long time, whether that be a football club, a brand, whatever, an artist. But yeah, whatever. Big up BH1. Come on, come on. It's mad. I don't think, but sometimes I don't deep it. But no, let me not say sometimes I don't deep it because I appreciate you guys and girls a lot. But sometimes I just sit back and I deep like the community is mad. The community is mad from this channel, then to create the Big Six, and obviously I've done a lot of work with AFTV over the last 3 years or so, or coming up to 3 years, and the support is just constantly building, and now I'm coming back here to build it slowly but surely back up again. This won't be the only piece of regular content on this channel. Road to 100k still as well. Hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed. I keep on forgetting that, but to be honest, my main aim is not to come back and just go and hit 100k straight away. My main aim is to come back and make sure the community is good, make sure we're all here, we're all working in the same direction. I've noted down a lot of the suggestions from that first video I done 3 weeks ago, so I will be coming with a lot more content. I know I've said that a lot, people, but I've also been honest. Busy. Big Six, AFTV, little man, busy. Can't lie. And I'm in the process of big things coming up. So the next 6 months should be massive, and I'm sure the community is going to be here. Big up, Abby. Won't say love you too, like Skaldo. Come on, my guy. You're Turkish then? Wait, actually, you're not Turkish. I'm sure I asked you this question before. Turkish is not the only culture that says Abi as well. We absolutely need that Champions League, says Ryanair. Big up Ryanair. It's not often you hear people say that. But big up Ryanair, big up Broski. Come on, Taylor. Hope you're good, my brother. Hope you're good. Jason, come on. Appreciate those words, man. Appreciate those words, man. CD. Jean Ren, come on. J Dime, of course you're a legacy fan, my bro. Come on. You're a legacy fan. Are you really going to get a mid-6 show? You're going to get a mid-6 show still. Special one-off banger. It's going to come out of nowhere. But you will be there. You will be there. Not sure what channel yet. Matisse is probably. But you will be there. I've got another super chat here as well. Big up Dino. Jay said, did you see Saeed found a lookalike of you on his watch along and sent it to Skull? What? Is that what you done? Hey, JC, I beg you, tell me what minute that is, because I can't go through man's watch along. Wait, who's watch along? Didn't Saeed go to the game? Nah, Saeed went to the game. JC, I need more information, my brother. Do you mean when he was on Matisse's watch along? Either way, I need to know what minute that is. I need to know what ammunition they've got. I need to know what avenues I need to chase to defend myself come tomorrow night. But we do thank Man United and we do thank Chelsea for the sacrifices they make week in, week out to help invigorate the Big Six community and help distract from potential failures like losing 1-0 at Villa Park. We will be talked about. We will be there, but they will be talked about more. That's for sure. That's for sure. Don't how you not in my chat saying don't snitch? Listen, this is my community. Ain't you my community? Ain't you my community? I feel like Denzel in Training Day right now. This is what you're trying to do to me? Nah. Who is that? Who said stop snitching first? Who started the wave? Man said the bearded guy playing the drums, JC. Is it like a Tobes thing though? Because playing the drums ain't bad. Is it? Tobes shadow boxing last season and Tobes pole dancing this season. They're mad. A guy that plays the drums that looks like me, I guess I can deal with that. I can deal with that. This ain't snitching here. This is confidential. This is live confidential. This is different. This is live confidential. Yeah. This is anything you say here cannot be used against you. It cannot be used against you in any court of law. whether that might be Saeed's court, the Big Six court. This community is untouchable. So don't worry about snitching. Let me know the exact minute he fucking sent this. Let me know the exact minute. Come on, Jay. But Jay, are you mod? Are you mod? I don't know. Are you mod? Someone needs to make you mod right now because it's moving mad. JC, I'm gonna make you mod, bro. I'm gonna make you mod. You see what I'm saying? Add as a moderator. Don't fuck about though, please, bro. Being a mod is a big thing. I don't be blocking people. Like I can take a lot of shit. You know, I can take a lot of shit. So you don't need to block people for no reason. But that piece of information that deserves a modding. That deserves a modding. Gonna send them to Pelican Bay. Bells. I am watching training day tonight. Oh, forever Arsenal. 11. Finish around midnight. Yeah, I'm watching training day. I don't sleep till about 2, 3 a.m. anyway. So come on, JC. You've been promoted, my brother. You don't know how to mod. Don't worry, man. Your name's in blue. There's a fucking spanner next to it. That means you're official. That means you're official here now. You're official. You're gang now. So how can you be snitching if you're talking to gang? You can't. There you go. So don't worry about these people talking about stitches. We'll sort them, man. Do you reckon we need to get a right? Of course. I don't know how we didn't get DRB in the summer. Nice price. What was it? 40 mil? Nice price. We messed about. I'll take him, Bomo. I will take him. Kudus is another one. Why? Kudus and DRB, like, go back to my videos in the summer. I said both of them names. I said both of them names to rotate, push, you know, play ahead of Saka when needed. And both went to other clubs for a decent fee. Decent fees. I think we missed out. I'll take Mbomo from Brentford, but after Raya, and I don't know if we're going to go in for Tony. It does look like we are. I don't know. They'll probably sick of us if we're going for Mbomo as well, but I'll take him, even though that one is more of a backup, whereas DRB and Kudus, they could really challenge, you know. Listen, I love Saka, but I think Kudus and DRB are quality players as well, so challenging is all good and well. So 100% we need someone. Cryptic Dino says, I can't lie, Turkish. I like when the whole squad produces goals. 1 or 2 dependable strikers are cool. But for me, 4 guys that can get me 15 plus goals. Yeah, I mean, I liked it last season. Something I got my head around too. We scored the most goals we've scored in the Premier League. What was it, 88? So proof's in the pudding there. And like I said, last season, I think defense let us down. I don't mind who gets the goals. Zinchenko could get 44 goals for me. As long as we win the league, I'm not fussed who gets the goals. It's nice it being shared out. It's nice, but equally, I couldn't care less if we win the league with 15 goals spread out over 5 men or 60 goals spread out over 2. I don't business about any particular way. It's just, listen, one thing I'm not saying is I want a 20 that, because I do want a 20 goal, so I was about to say that in the wrong way. Let me think about how to word this. Like Osherman, let's use Osherman as an example. I want him. That's a 20 goal a year player. I want him. But if he comes and gets 25 or 20, let's say he gets 20, 25, I still think Saka should get 15. I still think Martinelli should get 15 to 20, both of them. I still look at Odegaard to get us in and around 10 to 15 or 10 to 12 to be a bit more fairer. So I still think the goals can be spread out with one getting slightly more than others. It's not a Haaland thing where he's getting a mad number and then no one else is close to him. I wouldn't like it to be like that, because then one piece comes out and then you could lose, your whole potency, which is probably what you're kind of insinuating anyway. Tinai again says, big up Turkish. You are one of the Arsenal guys that calls it like it is. No lies, just fair and reasonable opinions. I'm a big fan of your channel. Love. Tinai Nizwere. Where are you from? Where are you from? Like, where are you based? And if you're based here, then what's your background? I'm asking because it's an interesting name. So big up. Appreciate the love though. Listen, like I said before, I stopped doing content for like 4 months on this channel. Come back and it's still love. It's mad. All right, come on. Turkish Washington training day. I listen. Classic. You see Denzel? Not many like him. But big up again for the super chat. Let me go back to the chat and see what I've missed. I just looked at the time. Hour and 17 seconds. But hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. We're not going to go on for too much longer. It's 7 minutes past 10. I still got Forever Arsenal to do. So I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We'll talk for another 5 minutes. Maddison is the most painful, says Ryan there. Yeah, I would have loved Maddison. I think Maddison and Odegaard would have worked so well together. I think they would have worked so well together with Declan Rice behind. Whew, I think we would have been nice. But yeah, can't really think about that anymore, can we? Let me scroll back up. Sorry. Rather Neto. Neto's not a bad shout. I mean, the only problem with him is the injury stuff. If he can really put that behind him, then listen, Neto will be up there with Kudus and Diaby as players of interest for sure. For sure. And I'll definitely take him over Mboma if we know that he's kind of put that behind him, which is hard to know. But what we do know is he hasn't put it back. He hasn't recovered fully yet because he's still picking up injuries off the back of it. Not necessarily the same injury or the same area, but because of how big the injury was and the impact on his body, physicality, all of that, he's going to have little problems here and there along the way. How often those problems go on for and how big they might potentially get, that's something that we're yet to find out. And knowing us, we signed a fit Thomas Partey that was only injured for 2 days in the last 7 years. And then he's come here and in the last 3 years been injured for like 60% of the time. So maybe we should buy Neto. Maybe we should just say, fuck it, let's just buy someone injured. And maybe they won't be injured again for the rest of their life. Because when we buy players that are not injured and their record is clean, they're getting injured. Maybe we've got to flip up the script and do some reverse psychology on this thing. But at what point is, quote, competing at least not good enough? Was it 5 phases or 4? Also, without Emery, Saka will be at Charlton with an option to buy. Love. All right, let's go back. At what point is competing at least not good enough? I don't know how. I mean, what's competing? Okay, so I guess you mean last season into this season. When's it not good enough? I'd say 2 years into competing, which would be this summer, which would mean this season. But I think you know that of me, and you might not. I don't know if this question is directed at me per se, because I have said that we're back to competing at the very least. I do believe that's a big thing because we should be competing at the very least. But now we're back here. You're right in asking how long that lasts, and I think once you build a side that can compete for 2, maybe 3 years, you should be yielding some sort of trophies with that. And I don't mean League Cups and Europa Leagues. I mean trophies, like the big trophies, the majors. So I think this year is a big one for sure. Problem is with Man City here, and it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to be a 90-point year. It's not going to be a 90-point year. To be honest, I haven't done the maths, but I don't think it's going to be a 90-point year, even if it's still mathematically possible. I think from the results, performances, and outlook of Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, we're not getting a 90-point year. So if it was Man City that pipped us this year, let's say, and it was another 87 points to 85 or 86, 87 or 87, 84, let's say it was a closely fought title race, and instead of fucking up like we did at the end of last season, we were unfortunate and we lost it. I think that's not necessarily acceptable, but I think that's something that is very different to finishing 7 to 10 points or 13 points behind the eventual winners. It may be in second still, maybe in third. I think it's very different, and obviously one would bring another emotion out, whereas the other would, in terms of listening, was 7, 10, 13 points away come the end of the season and we didn't put up a fight. Then listen, big questions must be asked. Big questions must be asked. But if we lose few points difference, unfortunate end to the season, then it's very different circumstances. So this whole competing thing, it is competing at least, because with Man City and with Pep in the league, you've got no divine right to win it, regardless of how much has been spent. Because a lot of that can be skewed in different ways because yes, we have spent a hell of a lot more than Man City in recent years. What they built over the last 10, 15, maybe 10, 12, what they've built over that time has allowed them to be in a position to spend less because they've built what they've built and the assets they've got. They don't need to buy, or they haven't needed to buy a certain time, or that they will break even because they've got quality to sell, and that's definitely a big problem for us. Even though we've never, not in recent years, had the quality to sell like Man City do. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but basically, once you're competing again, 2-3 years in, you must have majors. You must have a league or a Champions League minimum. Minimum. That's how I see it. Was it 5 faces or four also without Saka? Nah, man. I don't know what that's about. Also without Emery, Saka will be at chart. I don't know what that's about. Saka's Saka because of Saka. Saka's not Saka because of Emery. Saka's not Saka because of Mikel. Saka's Saka because of Saka first and foremost. Emery gave him his breakthrough. He played multiple positions under Arteta, similar, growing under a new manager, kicking on international stage, more responsibility at the club, international stage, again, more responsibility for country. And he's kicked on ever since. So I don't know where this whole Saka will be at Charlton thing came from. Don't know. Who do you support as well, if you don't mind me asking? Peter says, who's sacked first, Posh or Ten Hag? Very good question. If I was to put money on it, the Ten Hag one's weird, because they've been dead this season. When you look at the league table and you look at where they are in comparison to the other clubs, like a Man City, or I know it's 6 points now, but it's 3 points not long ago, or Newcastle, and you look at where Chelsea are. I mean, Man United are not as dead as I thought they was. They are dead. I mean, it's hard to say. They're dead as I thought they was, but their league position was definitely not something I expected, or their points accumulation. Let me say, their performances and results give me the feeling they should be like 9th. But then again, I haven't checked an updated table. I've got it right here. Well, they're 6th. 3 points off 9th. Actually, yeah, they are dead. Ten Hag or Poch. I think Poch is walking a very, very thin line right now. He's on the edge. I think Ten Hag's league position saves him a bit, but a couple more losses, just a couple games swing. I mean, if West Ham had won today, they got smoked. If West Ham had won today, they probably would have gone above. They would have gone above United, so it would have looked a bit more bleak. And then Newcastle also got smoked by Tottenham. They would have gone above. Brighton, I don't know. Did Brighton win this weekend? Or was it like the 1-1 draw with Burnley? Yeah. So United, even though they got smoked, none of the teams below them won. So it could have been looking a lot more eerie, to say the least. All right, people, listen, there's still coming up to 700 people here, but I'm going to call it a day now. Still got 45 minutes left before Forever Arsenal, but I'll be back again. Some point next week, I will be back. Listen, they're becoming more consistent. You've wanted it. I'm here, and I will be bringing more content, like I said. So hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Love for the love. I'll be back. Forever Arsenal tomorrow, 8 a.m. Big Six Live, 9 p.m. And follow on the socials, people, at Turkish LDN, at the Big Six Show, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, all of that. We're at, people. Peace. We got another super chat there, so you know what, I don't want to be rude and not get it in, people. So we're gonna reload the intro real soon. 40 says, in these last few games, I find myself looking to Havertz to score a big goal for us. He showed real fight, but our front three needs to do more. Been average. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't look to Havertz to get us a goal, but I expect him to be part of getting us a goal now, if that makes sense. Like I like how he started to win the ball back in the middle of the park and catch defenders, midfielders out on the back foot and start an attack. I've liked that side of him. So I do expect some of that. I do expect some of that every game. Maybe not the big goal every game, but I expect some of that for sure. And our front three have been average. They have been average. Um, come on, love people, love. But yeah, they have been average. I mean, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, they need to step it up. They need to step it up, and hopefully they will step it up. Because if they step it up from where we are now, then we potentially go on and potentially win the league this season. But we will be here. I'll be here. You'll be here. Hit the like button. Love for the love, and I am at this time. Peace.